Continue. I think you maybe introduced what I'm going to talk about now, but anyway, I do it in English as well. So we're going to now look at more how we are working with increased and improved visualizations of these analytics that we're talking about. Once again, we go back to the cornerstones because I think it gives you a good thread where we are. And now we are working sort of in the area between the world of analysis and the strategy and the management. Because if we produce results that no one understands, it's of no use. We have to make everyone accept and understand the stuff that we analyze. So with that, we will build the confidence of the analysis that we do. Okay? So how do we do this? We have been looking at this picture again. I think it's also a good way of showing what I'm going to talk about. So we were here before, information, data, model, and so on, but now we will be over here. Once we have produced the results, we need to gain the understandings and do the insights in order to form the right and best decisions. So that's where we are. And when doing this, these decisions are, there are many in the loop or in the sort of sequence of this analysis that we're doing. There are so many different peoples and different roles that are involved. For example, we have the analysts, people that are actually performing running the softwares and so on. So often they are maybe doing spare part optimization, where they're mentioning resources, etc. Then we have project leaders, the leader of the projects, and they might sitting on tasks of defining the capabilities or other overall properties of the system, and readiness requirements, etc. And on the management side, they might be sitting on the task of estimating the overall cost of the entire program, and also projections of future capability, readiness, etc. And then there might be fleet managers that are working with things like operations planning or maintenance planning and information on more individual levels for different systems within the fleet and so on. And all these people need different answers, and we also need to visualize things in different ways depending on who we are turning to with our results. So it's all about providing the right results to the right people at the right time. Okay, so how can we do that? Well, out of an analysis of OPUS 10, you get something like this. And then you think, okay, that's hard to get something out of. Maybe not for me, because I've been working with this for 15 years, but for anyone else, this is not so much value. But there is a lot of value inside all those numbers, because those are results from the analysis. We can see total costs of the entire program. We can see things like the spares investment costs. We can see system performance measures, like the number of downtimes or the mean time to repair the systems, stuff like that comes out when we gather all the information in the data model. We can also see values regarding the logistics support, and here we look at things like waiting time for spares or risk of shortage of spares, etc. And we can also see things like the availability of the fleet. But all this is, it's there, but it's in this format, it is a bit hidden. So that's why we need to lift it up. And we've, of course, been doing this for a very long time. We've always had result presentations in graphical formats. Here are some examples from OPUS 10 and simulation and cost analysis. But more and more requirements comes on modern software to be able to produce results in more flexible ways and more graphical ways. So, and that's one of the areas that Sytecon are focusing on right now, is to taking us from more traditional analytical views into a more modern world of visualizations. And concepts that are common when we talk about this is that we talk about dashboards. So I'm going to show you more about what we mean. We also talk about business intelligence. But a few bullets on this. So it is mainly a lot about customization. So a dashboard is something that can be tailored or fitted, adjusted to meet specific customer needs. And not only a specific, company or organization, but also different roles, as we were looking in the previous slide. The different roles want to see different results. So also adapting to the business services that you are doing and the life cycle that you're working in and the different phases that you are in. Typically, depending on if you're an operator or if you're a vendor or a manufacturer or whatever it might be. So we need to adapt the results to the business. And of course, ultimately, it's about interpretation and understanding. And we want to target those values that are really relevant for the business and make them comprehensive and understandable. Of course, in the end, then, it's about communication and getting the message through to build this awareness and about the results and the analysis that we're doing. So I'm going to give you a few examples on how this can look. If we're performing customized visualizations on, and here we're looking at a dashboard for system readiness and cost, which might be for program managers or for the fleet readiness. So depending on who is taking this, but here's an example. So we might be looking at a set of different operational bases, operational units here at the top with some names there, Spider, Ghost, Aquila, etc. So we can see the availability for each of those. We can also see the number of aircrafts that are available in actual terms, and we can see the number of flight hours that are performed. Further, this corresponds to a cost effectiveness curve. So somewhere up here, you see that one of the points is selected, and that's the one that's triggering those results. Selecting a different point will give you a different view here. And we would also get the total life support costs and how they are split up for the different in different cost elements according to a predefined cost model. So that's one example on how we can customize a visualization, and all these results are available in that table that I showed you in the beginning. But this is another way of creating a dashboard, and in a much more visualized way, explaining the results. And so this was for fleet readiness. But if we look at a view from if you're working at a depot, maybe, and you want to look more at the maintenance and the spare parts. So this top graph here shows an example on how we can visualize the levels of the spare parts, the stock levels. So each bar represents one of the part numbers or one of the items of our model, the spare parts. And we can see that the red numbers, which is the sort of height of the bars, shows us the nominal levels, meaning what is the recommended spare part, number of spare parts in the stock for this one. But then we can also follow with a white dashed line, we can follow what numbers that we have on average on stock. So what's the average stock level? Again, these are all results that are already available, but just by presenting them, we can find the drivers here, what are the ones taking up most of the space and most amount. And also something interesting here is the one up there, you see it says engine. Oh, okay, kind of hard to tell what that is. But anyway, so we said that we have 5, but on average there's just 0 in stock. So that might be a problem. There's a very high risk of a shortage on that item. So that kind of visualization becomes obvious in this case. Again, it is connected to these cost effectiveness curves. So we have selected one solution on this curve. And we can also again see on the repair actions per year what item that is driving the work on the workshop, for example. So we see here that the engine requires many repairs per year, so it might be a driver of both costs and as well as hours in the workshop. And the last part here that might be interesting is to see the risk of shortage, as I was talking about. And here you can see it on system level here. Down here, so we have 3 different aircrafts probably in this case, and we can measure this with some kind of graph showing that. And also the number of back orders per base. All visualizations trying to understand from a depot view the results. And the last one from more of a reliability and maintainability view. So if you're working with LSA tasks and you're analyzing your items in terms of sort of cost drivers and so on. So we can do things like this, which we call a scatter plot or a scatter diagram. So each dot in there represents one item, and yeah, the colors are different types, whether they are repairable or not. But anyway, what we can see here is on the x-axis we have failure rates, and then we have prices on the y-axis, so meaning that up in the corner here we have some problematic items, and if we can identify those early and understand that these are going to be expensive, maybe there are some improvements that can be done. We can negotiate the contract, or we can improve the quality in some way. We will get better performance in the long run of our systems. Also looking at demand rates to visualize the items driving the failures, and we can look at aircraft reliability KPIs to understand how the system is actually in operation. Mean time between maintenance for both in total and per PM, and we can see in calendar and so on the maximum availability, which is called inherent availability, etc. Okay, so this is that's one way of building customized visualizations. But then we also have new built-in functionalities with the latest versions of OPUS. You all who have used tools previously, you are used to some kind of graphs and so on, but now we are introducing more and more new graphs. So this is an example from latest version of the simulation tool called Simlogs. And not only is it a new type of visualization, here we actually also have a new type of result, which we call it capability results. And capabilities, sort of what is our system ready to perform. So if you have an aircraft, you can do different tasks. You can do reconnaissance tasks, you can do basic flights, or maybe air to ground or air to air, and so on. There are different modes in which we can operate the aircraft. And these graphs shows us how much of the time are we available for those different type of capabilities, of different type of missions. So this gives an understanding of what we are ready to perform. Not only, so that's what I'm saying is that it's another level beyond only a planned mission. It's more of a preparedness. What are we prepared to perform with our system? Same thing over time, and also traditional, of course, we have the traditional simulation results, as on the left here, where we're looking at how much of the time are we capable on average. So here it says that approximately 82% of the time are we on average are the systems ready for or capable for mission. And on the right, there is another way of representing the operational modes or the capabilities that I was mentioning as well. And for OPUS 10, also, this is really something new that is coming with the next version of OPUS 10 here in a few months. And again, a new way of representing the results. It's off the shelf with OPUS 10, and new way of selecting a point and directly get different graphs, sort of like a dashboard. So selecting something from the cost effectiveness curve will directly influence your other graphs and result tables. And another thing that is more of a conceptual content, but that we're looking at is a way of I like mathematics, I know some of you do too, but we can show the probability for a certain number of available systems given an availability on the curve here. So this would be something like, so what's the probability of having 10 or at least 10 aircrafts available? You could accumulate this graph and you get pretty interesting figures out of that as well. So those are some, just to give you some ideas on what we're working with and how we can improve the visualizations. So how does it work? Well, as I said, some of this is off the shelf together as a result presentation directly in the tools, but we also have a separate dashboard tool, the Insights tool. And so it deploys on any Windows workstation. The Insight tool runs independently of the OPUS suite. You're just opening up the result files, so you can read the results directly, and you can tailor-make your dashboards. And with the visualizations that are Insight, it's the same thing. You just open up the results from the suite directly, so it's all integrated and ready to use. And the key benefits, of course, is that we will be able to visualize the results. And one picture says more than 1,000 words or numbers. And this helps us to expand the audience, expand the understanding and sharing the insights outside of the traditional analysis group. It helps us to deliver the message to the target stakeholders and really ultimately to have all lights on the decision that we actually want to take. So focusing on the right results. So the key takeaways, we see more and more interest in dashboard and that type of solutions. And it gives the decision makers a better understanding for the analysis that we're doing. And as I said, we have ongoing initiatives. Much is already implemented, but we have more underway. And all the technical prerequisites are in place to keep on building. So, we're taking it from the numbers to the insights all the way, focusing on understanding the results from the analytics. Okay, thank you.